Oh, there's only love. There's only love.
I love it. Love from a distance. Love your kids from a distance. That's a lesson. There we go. I hear.
Right. So I know, like, as an educator and all that, I'm supposed to say I miss the students, which obviously it's true, 100%. They come in every single day. You get the smiles from the students. You get the, you get the feedback, because we're mostly in between classes. We fill in the time that the teachers are off. So hanging out with the students is something that you really miss. But like in the faculty, there's a couple other things that I miss, coming to school. So first of all, there's like a process in every school. When I was in DMA, Posnack, and other schools I worked in, there's like a certain magical thing that happens in a teacher's lounge. When you walk in the morning, you know how your day's going to be. You're either greeted by a teacher that's like, or sometimes you're greeted by a teacher like, hey, you're the real jolly one that you kind of like, not yet, give us a few hours till we get in. And I don't know why, but I'm addicted to teacher's lounge coffee. It's so good. It's just like, it's always there and available. And then you got to fight for them in the line. But I really miss the teacher's lounge very much. And in terms of the students, I miss, like when a teacher walks by a student, so you make sure they're in code. We know this very much, that the girls are wearing the skirts at proper length. And then, so I always miss that, when you walk by, everything is good. And then when you walk past them, they're like, okay, now we can get back to regular, put the baseball cap on, move the skirt back up how we like it. So I miss a lot of the culture that goes on in the hallways, to be honest with you.
I love that teacher's lounge magic you speak about.
Yes.
The magic.
It is true.
Lounge.
It is true.
I do remember when I taught.
Teachers, yeah.
Yeah, when I didn't have a college degree yet. Still don't. Oh, let's edit that out. I did not. I was in my second or third year of college and I started teaching American history at a school in Brooklyn. I probably shouldn't mention the name of the school because I don't think the people from Yeshiva Rambam would want their parents to know that they had somebody teaching American history there who had not graduated from college. But I learned more about teaching.
High school?
Teachers Lounge. Okay, high school also. By the way, I have this is my mug it's the Talmudical Academy Alumni Association, which is one of the few proofs that I have that I did graduate from high school, or at least they're willing to look the other way and have me write them a check.
I just want to let you know, I'm also a Talmudical Academy student, and if we're the two people representing, that's pretty bad.
That looks like a great mug, though. Good for you.
It does look pretty good. I'm not going to lie. It's a good size.
Big shout out to
sturdy.
Lounge Coffee, by the way, Ravadi. That's a good shout out to Teacher Lounge Coffee. It's delicious, it's free, and it gets the job done.
Appreciate it.
Is it free?
I mean, technically, you get paid, right? Because you get paid to be in school. Thus, you get the coffee, and then.
Well, there's also it's part of the budget. It's meaning, right? Part of tuition. A good chunk of it goes towards the coffee.
Right.
So otherwise, do you guys know what's crazy about the teacher's lounge more than anything else? You guys every school has it. It's the most disgusting refrigerators. I don't know why teachers love Tupperware. They always bring their leftovers from home and they shove it in there. And until Erev Pesach, it's not clean. So you can imagine this year, there was no Erev Pesach in most of the schools. I'm very scared to open up the refrigerators in the teachers' lounges when we get back.
Well, I mean, even when the teachers' lounge is active and people are there, some of those Tupperwares, you say they love Tupperware. I don't think they love Tupperware so much because they'll leave it there for months on end. Like, it's
typically forgotten. I mean, God knows, I've seen you bring something in and it's morphed, it's transformed a few weeks later. Like, what happened? Who brought this in?
The teachers refrigerators where Tupperware goes to die. But more importantly, so these are the things that you missed. These are the things that you missed. But then I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say what none of you said. You missed the class clown. You definitely missed the class clown. Don't me like that, Rabbi Zions. You miss the class clown. You do, because that's who adds spice. That's who makes the day exciting. If you were to get up and just teach and just drone on like Ben Stein and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, then your day would not be complete.
You know what? I guess you're probably right. Although, it's always fascinating when you go into a classroom and like you have such high expectations and you're going to start the year off, it's going to be amazing. And you're expecting there's going to be, for sure, as there is in every class, there's always going to be one class clown. What you don't anticipate, what happens when 90% of the class are the class clowns? How do you determine the hierarchy of a class clown? It gets very complicated. And then that throws a wrench.
True.
No, but I think the title of class clown needs to be earned.
Believe me.
Like a Survivor type of game show situation. And how long can you remain in the class as class clowns?
That's a fair point. It's a fair point.
Brilliant.
These are all the ideas we're having in quarantine.
Unfortunately, I don't teach so much now in my new position in Posnack, but when I was in BMA, all the lesson plans that I planned for, I couldn't even get close to doing it. Not only were they not the class clowns, but I mean, every class I taught, it wasn't my class that I felt bad for. It was the neighboring teachers that would send me the text. Rabbi, we're trying to learn here. I got a Binyamin or a Shuli Fryer on the treadmill in the back. It's like a whole game show over there. I remember that was fantastic. I actually really, really miss those days. And
for the record, at BMA, we're always learning incredible things every day, all day long. Different things that we're learning, but we're definitely learning.
I didn't say they weren't learning. I'm just saying, not necessarily what I had to show the principal on my lesson plan is how I taught it when I got into room 202 or whatever it was. That's all I'm trying to say.
All right, now I don't usually do this, but I know that my kids don't watch this. They try to avoid anything that I do publicly. For good reason. But I think if you're going to call them out, I need to just record a quick voice note to the family group chat. Shuli and Binyamin, I just want to let you know that you're being called out on Rabbis in Quarantine Getting Coffee by Rabbi Adi. So .org/live so that you can tune in and strike back if necessary. Okay.
100%.
Now that I've taken care of that.
She was great. So I only have good things to say about Shuli. She was great this year.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention you.
Yeah.
That was all about Rabbi Adi. So now how has the class clown transitioned into the Zoom classroom? What's going on?
I wish there was a class clown. It adds more to the class because I think like we're not used. I'm certainly not used to hearing myself talk for 35 minutes, 40 minutes straight. Sometimes I'll just be like, in Zoom class, I'll just say, guys, I need to take a break. Someone say something. Someone say something else. Something, anything. And the way that, we didn't mention this before regarding the class clown, but a lot of times my own classes in real life, most of the time, like I'm the one who's the one getting off topic. I'm the one who's like talking about random, ridiculous things, all within the curriculum and lessons and all that stuff. As you know, it could be that someone from my school is watching, and obviously I teach very seriously and I take my job. I'm very professional. Let's get that straight.
Rabbi Levitt, we have an issue. Okay.
But sometimes when you're just talking and talking and talking, you need something else, and that's like sometimes you really want a class clown to just say something, say a joke, anything, riff on marriage for a little bit. I don't know, whatever, something.
So I'll jump in on that. I'll let you know. So I do tefillah in BMA. It's elementary and middle school and early childhood, of course. So I was doing tefillah with the elementary students. You don't need to worry about a class clown because they're all so passionate and energetic so early in the morning for tefillah, and they're so into it and they have so much to say, just not from the words of the sitter. But they're all more than happy to jump in at any point in time and talk about anything and everything with each other. It's very cute to watch.
So tell us some funny things that have happened on Zoom since this whole thing blew up.
Where do we start?
You just pull one at random.
I'll give you a good one. The truth is that, and my students could tell you for many years, I've been using Google Docs and Google Class. The transition in terms of learning didn't affect much because it's literally very similar to what we're teaching. But I will tell you a couple things. Number one, when you have an early morning class, like that begins at 8:30 or 8:45, the rabbi has to make sure that the pillow marks are not on his face anymore. Because I don't know about quarantine, but I'm sleeping in a lot more than I did. So that's number one. And also that the coffee has, or the tea has the label sticking out. It's very important that the students should see. But most important is that.
Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that for a moment. Can you turn your cup around and show us the side?
Well, yeah, it's a tea bag over here, and it's taped over here, so you can't see the water that I'm drinking.
The water, right? So you want the kids to think that you're using the caffeine to.
Well, it's the perks of quarantine.
It's just water to keep you hydrated.
The funny things about quarantine is that when you ask a kid a question and they're still kind of like spacing out at the camera, like you totally know they're playing Fortnite or something else, but you're like. And what does the Gemara say? Okay, please tell me. And they're like,
the best is when the lights. The best when the lights are flashing on their face, like they're clearly binge watching on Netflix. I was doing tefillah, and I call on one kid to, could you lead us in tefillah? And he's just sitting there staring, but the lights are changing all over his face. I unmute him. This was before Zoom changed the settings. I unmuted him, and I heard. I'm like, so-and-so, are you watching a TV show? He jumped up. He turned off the camera. And I guess that was it.
Never see a reflection in anybody's glasses of what they were really.
No. Another great. Oh.
Okay.
Anyone?
I'll tell you another great thing is the mothers yelling at the kids in the background.
All the time.
That's the best. That's momish. Like I tell you, you sit there, and the mothers who you meet at PTA, at the meetings and everything, they're so sweet. You hear them at their kids, get out of it! It goes on mute, and then, Dad, what are you doing? You know they're just like, how are you not learning? Get your mess, I'm not doing this. What are you doing? Why'd you leave a mess? All these things. To me, that's my highlight. I like to listen into the outside of the room, the mothers yelling at them, and it's great because the mothers actually get to see what we have to put up with on a daily basis. So
you get a glimpse of what life is really like. This question could actually, I'm not sure who it's for, but seeing who it's from, it could be almost for any one of you. Yitzi Eisenberger.
Oh. I plead the fifth.
Is a class clown as important as a minion hedgehog?
Oh, I'll take that one. The answer is an unequivocal no. But let me provide some background, which is going to make no sense.
Please, I love it when it doesn't make sense.
At all, whatsoever. Basically, in KYHS folklore, there was a movement put together by Rabbi Jonathan Kroll before he left and went back to New York, of developing a minyan for unique individuals. I don't mean unique individuals like the way like Charles Xavier used it for like the X-Men. I mean it in terms of kids who they needed a shorter davening. So he created this group, this minyan, this quorum of young men for this prayer group in the morning for Shacharis. I don't know how, and yet I still haven't been able to piece the whole tale together. It's at one point one of the guys in the minyan brought his pet hedgehog in. I know you're probably thinking, hey, where do you get the hedgehog from? Again, I don't know. And it took on the name the Hedgehog Minyan. This year, I was so lovingly given the merit of running that minyan with a very special group of chevra who I miss dearly. That is one thing that I really miss about going in every day. And we call it the Hedgehog Minyan, in which the end of minyan, everyone would I would pick someone to give a hedgehog fact of the day. We even had a plaque that we made from our KYHS makerspace. We're very professional. And someone would give a fact about a hedgehog. Then if it was a repeat fact, chas v'shalom, chalila v'chas, we would shame them, and they'd have to come up with a new fact. And I would give a teaching for Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, because obviously hedgehogs and Rabbi Nachman go hand in hand.
Yeah,
and that's so I believe the hedgehog supersedes the class clown, the hierarchical characters of education.
Rabbi Nachbar, in the post-meeting show that we might have, can I guess some of the students who are in that hedgehog minyan based on my former students that are now in YHS?
And I guarantee you'll probably batting 1,000. Unlike Rabbi Adi,
I think you should just do it now.
Not hiding the beverage in the cup. School's over for me, so it's life.
I'm not hiding. It's water.
There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide.
If I could add my favorite part about Zoom classes,
Sure.
and I'm sure you guys have gotten also, the clothing which the students will wear to class, or the lack of clothing. There's a few male students who I guess are working out during class or pre-class or after class, or I don't know what the situation is at home. I'll get bathrobes, just a whole lot of, full suits of armor, a scuba suit, whatever's not normal clothing, the kids will wear to their Zoom class. That's been weird. So, yeah.
But for sure, 100%, we all cut out standing for the hot tikva. Remain seated.
Of course, yeah, that's
important.
cannot stand.
Right.
I mean, I didn't want to ask how many people in this particular little floor that are wearing pants right now. Rabbi Zines,
don't ask me to stand up. That's all. Just don't ask me to stand up.
Rabbi Adi, Natan Brownstein
Oh gosh.
posts on in the chat on YouTube that he hopes that you're referring to the greatness of the BMA Teachers Lounge. And
of course.
he says they miss you in the BMA Teachers Lounge. It's not the same. And he didn't mention this, but he also wanted me to throw in that there's a Tupperware with your name on it that you need to pick up.
Okay, first of all, the BMA Teachers Lounge, middle school, I don't know, first of all, Teachers Lounges are very personal. So if you're like in a different department, if you're in middle school, you go into the early childhood. Teachers Lounge is the best in BMA because they get all the lunch leftovers. There's always like the best food in there.
And they're baking.
They're always baking.
It's amazing.
But the BMA Early Childhood Teachers Lounge at BMA, you have to sneak in like a ninja because if you're caught, you're like, there's like an alarm or whatever. Upstairs in the middle school, that was my dojo. That was great. Mr. Schumann, myself, what goes on in this Teachers Lounge stays in the Teachers Lounge. But between Mr. Schumann and myself, we really did teach Rabbi Natan everything he knows. And then if you ever needed anything, you don't understand the minds you had over there. Rabbi Bloom would come in, you pick his mind. Hey, Rabbi, how do you do A, B, and C? Mr. Shanker, all the wonderful middle school teachers that we had. An unbelievable team in BMA at that time. But that Teachers Lounge was great. Everything was amazing. And then when the Israeli teachers come in, that's like a whole nother thing. It gets quiet because everybody's scared of Israeli teachers no matter what. And they are the queens of the Teachers Lounge and the queens of Tupperware. If you have something in the microwave heating up and an Israeli teacher walks in, I don't care if it's ready, not ready, you get that out of there and let them put their jachnun and malalach or whatever they have, throw it right in that, because you don't want to get involved with that, I guarantee. And then they'll tell you about and all these things. You don't want to mess around with these Israeli teachers for sure. So, then me, Rabbi Natan, Mr. Schumann, we kind of would hide in the corner until they left. But that's the reality, especially not the printer.
True.
You never print before a math teacher. Math teachers are always printing. You use that printer for something that you need to do, Gemara. No, that's like the most dangerous. It's like it's like ordering challah at a supermarket. I don't want to say any specific one, but all of them, Erev Shabbos, with that big line behind you. There's a lot of pressure, that's what it's like, But I miss the Teachers Lounge, I do.
I hear that. But I noticed you're talking a lot about the BMA Teachers Lounge and not as much about the Posnack Teachers Lounge. Is it a different place?
Yes, because now in Posnack, thank God I have an opportunity. I have my own office now, which we call the Jewish Life OC. OC stands for Open Crib. All the teens know what I'm talking about. That's right. They all know what I'm talking about. When the parents leave town, their house becomes the OC, the Open Crib. So I just started off from the get-go. At Posnack, we have the Jewish Life Open Crib where students come in. It's always stacked with snacks. You can come in, make a bracha, hear a Devar Torah, have a schmooze, whatever it is. And so my office now is like I'm kind of there all day. And the funny thing is that all my, former colleagues at BMA will understand. They kind of threw me on the third floor away from everything else professional. They don't. So like my office is in a great location, right off.
It used to be a janitor's closet at some point. Those converted.
It actually used to be the media closet, and there's a switch that says on air, and then people knew to be quiet. It's pretty cute, but it's an amazing lounge. I have a sofas now, and the best thing I have are sequence pillows. There's something about sequence pillows which students come in and they just,
Can't help it. Can't help it.
It's just like, no, I need to talk to you. The sequence pillows are the best.
Oh, you need to have those.
Yeah,
They're important. I just want to catch us up on the online comments a little bit. We were talking before about the question as to whether we were each wearing pants, and I do have the answer for one of you, Shira Nachbar. That Rabbi Nachbar is 100% not wearing pants, and she says that she can confirm.
Shout out to my wife. Thank you so much.
And Oded Caravani started to comment something, which I saw before he retracted it. He gave us a glimpse of information that's about something that may or may not be happening at one of your schools. And I can't go any further because he retracted it. So I guess he didn't want the world to know.
Whoa.
And Shalom Browser says that he always was jealous of the Teacher's Lounge chill, that he wanted to be in there. You're out there and you're like, I know that feeling, like you're looking around, like, what's going on in there?
Avi, tell Shalom if he works hard, he could too one day become a faculty member at BMA.
Well, here's the thing. It seems that it didn't bothered him before, but not so much, because he follows it up by saying that there's nothing like chilling in Austria with Rabbi Zions.
All right, I'll take it.
I don't know what that means.
Better than Teachers
Lounge means.
Is Austria with Rabbi Zions.
Austria with Rabbi Zions. Hey, you stick with me. I'll take you to Austria. That's it.
All right. I guess that's the lesson for all of us. So
Rabbi Zions, I'm sticking with you.
There we go.
I'll
take you with me.
Tell us more about these Zoom classrooms before we go into the next step in all of our journeys going forward from here. What are you going to miss most when the summer comes about Zooming with your students?
What am I going to miss most?
Or at all?
I'm probably going to miss when I'm in the middle of a class or I'm giving a shir and my baby comes to me and he's screaming and he's pulling and he's saying, I have a poopy. and I just got to change his diaper and no one else is around. Other kids are screaming, there's crying, there's glass being shattered somewhere around the house. I'm going to miss it because I'm going to have to deal with that and it's going to be amazing.
You're going to miss that.
I'm going to miss having to be, I'll probably still be torn apart in different places all at once, but
I feel like Rabbi Nachbar has a similar feeling just from having been and this wasn't school, just having been in Kabbalat Shabbat. In Young Israel Hollywood, we do this live Kabbalat Shabbat going into Shabbat, a virtual, and it has started off with Rabbi Nachbar doing about 15 minutes on Hasidus. And while he's speaking, apparently Shira feels like, you know what, I've got the kids all day. I'm going to let him take care of them. And they all decide that they're going to come in, including the littlest one, who is just shy of 3, correct? He's only 3. Who it'll reach the point that he's saying what I guess everybody in that Zoom is thinking, which is stop talking.
Be quiet.
Talking. And he just repeats, stop talking, over and over again until Rabbi Nachbar finally stops talking. So I'm sure, Rabbi, you're going to miss having your children come in. Does that happen in class as well?
It actually happens all the time. And one thing that I started doing when we first started the Zoom quarantine thing, all the way back in 2011, when this whole thing started, almost 10 years ago today, that's when it started, was I would ask daily questions to my students to make sure they were indeed like paying attention, as opposed to doing the whole, like, they're over here, like looking over here while they're clearly playing whatever, and I'm over here, the whole thing. I would ask these daily questions to make sure they were like kind of, paying attention. And I would ask them questions, not only based on the content that I was teaching, but also about what had happened that class when my kids came in. What was Kobe? What snack was he asking me to open today? What shirt was he wearing? What was Zahava screaming at Libby about, and vice versa, my children. And you'd be surprised, an astounding number of students answered correctly in all those questions. Obviously, they were paying attention. They were not sharing answers afterwards. They weren't cheating. Obviously, that wasn't happening. It's very clear they weren't doing that. I believe they weren't doing that. But I worked it into my lessons a little because, like, I couldn't not do it. My son comes in here and he's not wearing a shirt and he's throwing pretzels at me. I got to make that work somehow with that I'm talking about. You know, Rashi Tosfos is just, it's just how it is. And I think that one of the coolest things that happened over Zoom for us all as educators was that our students got to see who we were as people. You know, when we're in the classroom, they see us as rabbi or rebbe or a moro or whoever, and they see us in this certain light. And obviously they relate to us and we relate to them, and they think we're who we are, and we're friendly with our students and we can have conversation with them. But now they got to see us in such a different light, when literally you have one kid punching the other one in the face while the other one's trying to ask you to open up like a water bottle for them as you're trying to like give them a quiz. They see you as like a person struggling with day-to-day living, just like they are. So I think that's it's a very important educational lesson, which I obviously am really happy I got to learn and they got to learn. I would have loved to learn it and teach that lesson, not during a global pandemic, but these are the cards we were dealt. But certainly my kids jumping in and doing all types of craziness has been wonderful in every aspect.
See, well, Avi, my bracha is that, you know, thank God I have 6 kids myself, and I just neglect them all from day one, so they don't even come to me.
Well, but getting to what Rabbi Nachbar said about asking a question which is completely irrelevant to what you're teaching, to make sure that the kids have been paying attention to everything you've been saying, I can tell you that Rabbi Adi is the master of this. Even before the Zoom, even before the quarantine and the corona. And let me just ask Rabbi Zions and Rabbi Nachbar, I'll ask this question. Rabbi Adi, I don't know if you already know the question I'm going to ask, but after I ask it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Rabbi Nachbar, Rabbi Zions, how many times is correct during the entire process of grilling a hamburger to flip the burger?
How many times is correct?
Yes. How many times should a burger be flipped?
Can I ask what surface you're cooking it on?
You're grilling.
The grill.
Grilling it.
Grilling.
A grill, so not a flat top or a cast iron pan?
Right. It's a grill.
Is placing it on the grill considered one, or
No.
from
Placing
there?
it is-
I would say 3 to 4 on a grill.
And what would you say, Rabbi Zions?
I was going to go with that. However, there's some people, there's a machlokus. Some people have a tradition, they have the custom, for some reason, they'll check both sides. Just like when you go to the fridge, you close it, you come back 5 seconds later, nothing's changed, but they keep looking, no, close it again, come back. So they'll just like one last flip, for like a second, and then they take it off.
Okay.
Some people have the tradition, but otherwise,
Is this
no
a
more than
question,
4.
perhaps? Like there was no grill to begin with?
It's not a trick question. I'm going to tell you that the correct answer is once. It should only be flipped once. And I know this because it appeared on a test. I believe it was a Navi test. Adi gave my son Binyamin, and I looked at it. I said, "Is this really a question?" Yes, this is one of the questions on the test. How many times should a hamburger be flipped? So we know that definitely Rabbi Adi has cornered.
I want to see the sources. I want to see the sources inside for that one.
On question, extra credit, not an extra credit question. Regular question.
So regular, it was part of the test, was it, Rabbi Adi? Not an extra credit.
Okay, well, I'm glad that all the Navi I taught your son, he remembered the main parts.
Well, no. This is what I remembered from the Navi I taught my son. I don't know what he remembered. But wait, before we get back to you, Rabbi Adi, since Rabbi Zions is calling into question whether this information is correct, I think it's time for me to mention Natan Brownstein would like to fact check whether Rabbi Zions actually changes diapers in his house at all. This came up. This is publicly posted right here on the YouTube.
Those are fighting words. Good Lord.
Yeah, so
PMA beef going on over there.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Rabbi Natan clearly is very what's the proper wording for this?
He does not wear the pants in the family. We all know that.
No, I'm saying he's domestic. I mean, he's very dedicated. I'm sorry, dedicated. That's the word.
Besides, the word is trained. He is trained.
Trained. Yes. He's very well trained. And that is really inspiring in some ways, I think. And it's fine. I have changed a diaper before.
Ever on Zoom while your students were watching?
Well, I did it. I was talking really loudly while I was changing the diaper, but I moved the camera, my computer away.
So they didn't actually see it happening.
Right. They may have heard screams while I was changing, and I was like talking to him, like, stop moving around. And
it was your screams or the kids' screams?
Yeah. Honestly, it was probably both. If we're being honest, I don't know.
Like, oh God, there actually is poopy in there.
No, because sometimes it's a false alarm. He says it, and I check, and then I'm like, oh God. So,
Yoni Kurtz would like to hear one or two of Rabbi Adi's favorite stories from your 7th grade Navi class. He mentions that his personal favorite was when he did a Ray Lewis dance in class that he says you were not happy about. But being a fan of Ray Lewis, I would think you would be quite happy about it. What was the story there?
Yes, first of all, I will put it out there. Growing up from Baltimore, I'm fully a Baltimore Ravens fan, and I love Ray Lewis, and no, he is not guilty. Okay, now, guilty until proven innocent. Okay, so I'm going to tell you. Number one, because all I know is that whoever's watching now is saying, what did Rabbi Adi teach for all those years at BMA? How to flip a burger and how to dance like Ray Lewis? No. So what I did was, first of all, there are always those kids that just don't know 100% on the test, so I'm going to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. So I always threw a far-fetched question, usually, and the state and where the source is usually from Alton Brown or somewhere on the Food Network on how to grill. Okay, so yes, so flipping the burger when it sweats on one side, that's how you know when to flip it. I 100%, the mucker is 100% the Food Network. Now, I will tell you that usually when we teach Baruch Hashem, in BMA, I learned a lot through Tanakh standards and benchmarks and all the lesson planning. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I was blessed for many years to be helping write the curriculum. I had a great team with Rabbi Bloom, Rabbi Natan, Mora Latova. Unbelievable, 4 different minds completely that we all formed together to make this great unit of Tanakh for BMA students. And so there are different types of assessments. So my goal is to make assessments and teaching, what it means to you in your life. So it's very possible that kids in my class learned about David HaMelech and turned it into some type of lesson with Ray Lewis. And yes, there's a lot of, we did a lot of defensive, YouTube videos. I didn't know what else the smart board was for. And because that teaches you how to fight the Yetzer Hara. It teaches you how to get to your goal.
You use the word defensive to describe these videos, but it almost sounds like you're being a little bit defensive right now. And I don't think you need to do that because they learned a lot. I know that my kids learned a lot from Rabbi Adi. I don't think you need to be defensive at all. In fact, Liz Browser says, Rabbi Adi taught our kids with Simchat Chaim and Ahavat Yisrael.
That's all I cared about. Very good. Thank you, Liz. You just summed it up. That was my goal.
There is no need to be defensive. Going forward, let's look forward. And I'm going to get back to Yitzi Eisenberger's comment later on. But look, here comes the summer. School's out. Almost for some, completely for some. School's out. Here comes the summer. What's happening next? What's next for all of you? Rabbi Nachbar, you're going to camp, aren't you?
I pray every day that is the case. It looks hopefully like we'll be going to camp. You know what? I'll put it this way: regardless if camp opens or not, the Nachbars are going to a camp to even just go and get out, get on the road.
Camp Nachbar. I love it. Good for
I'm
you
hoping
guys.
it happens. We got to do something. But much like everything regarding this pandemic, there's no real plans we can make. We're hoping to go to camp this summer. We're praying for it. I'm praying for it. My kids are praying for it. And we'll see what happens. And if it doesn't work out, then we'll figure something else out. And I'm trying to remain optimistic so I don't cry on camera. Just the thought of it not happening. I'm trying to keep it together. So we hope to go to camp.
All right. I hope you go to camp.
Thank you.
Rabbi Zions, you're doing camp either way else.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I no. I'm not going to camp. I pray to God my kids will go to camp.
Amen.
That's really I've been davening very, very, very hard. I still am. Please, Hashem.
And if camp doesn't open, what then?
If camp does not open, if my kids have nowhere to go, so then Camp Zions is opening up, and yeah, it's gonna be great.
You're gonna invite others or just charge your own kids?
Phenomenal question. I thought about just charging my kids, potentially opening it up and charging other people, but we'll see. Charge my kids. I mean, they can wash my car. They could, I don't know, they'll scrub the floor.
You got to take the Mr. Miyagi approach to camp.
I know, but the problem is if you give my kids anything, I'm just afraid that it's going to be destroyed. So the house will be destroyed. It's a little scary. Like he had one student. Imagine you got like a few kids and like you have no idea what they're up to. And like 1 second when it's quiet, you better be worried. Like all of a sudden, you hear screaming or a shatter or a door fell down, a glass broke. I'm talking like a window or like, I don't know, you see your car rolling away because they moved. It's a little crazy. It's a little crazy.
I hear that. Rabbi Adi, what about for the summer? What's this little girl doing for the summer?
Well, I don't know. We're gonna. I don't want to say because I'm a rabbi, but probably Camp Netflix. But we're gonna see. But the truth is that I, for the summer, am gonna probably go for round 10 of binging shtisel again, and then. But I do. I am the rabbi of a local shul here in Cooper City called Chabad Montera. And I have to devote my summer really to the needs of the shul and get it ready for the upcoming year so I can devote time during the year more to the wonderful Talmidim that I get a chance to deal with during the year.
Wow, spoken like the true diplomatic rabbi of a shul.
It's called I have to fundraise a lot this summer, so if I call any of the people listening in, you might want to block my call.
Right, okay, so everyone is warned. Yitzi Eisenberger, he posted actually a follow-up comment. He says that Rabbi Adi's use of buffalo versus lion videos truly taught life lessons to all of us. So life lessons remembered, what more could you ask for? What life lessons have all of you learned from everything we've been going through for the past few months?
There's so many.
Wow, it's a great question.
Life lessons?
Yeah.
We're not in control of anything.
Yeah. I was about to say, things change in the blink of an eye. I'm saying man plans and God laughs. And the idea is, listen, at the end of the day, Tachlis, you're going to have emunah. You got to have belief that, God is running the show and he knows what he's doing. And I have to believe it. And I do with all my heart. And I just hope one day we can understand or we'll be able to see the good. And the truth is, if you look today, even with all the chaos and the craziness, and just when you think the world can't get any crazier, it does get crazier. You're able to see the stars shine bright at night. And I think in this dark time, you're able to see so many stars, so many people who are bringing such incredible light and inspiration to this world. So I think that it's a matter of changing our perspective to stop focusing on the dark, stop focusing on the negative, but start focusing on the positive, start focusing on the incredible things that we're able to do and the things that people are currently doing.
I definitely took a huge lesson from this whole thing, especially when we prepare for classes and everything that we have to do on Zoom, is the basic of the halacha of the concept of taking the ikr and spending time on the ikr, not the tafel. And the reality is you see how much in life gets in the way and how much you have to kind of jones around and how much you have to one-up people on Facebook and WhatsApp and all these things throughout the whole year, all of a sudden comes this new this corona, and it teaches us, why should I face anything? Why should I waste any time without there being tachlis? Tachlis is family. Tachlis is your connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu directly. Don't rely on, at the end of the day, nobody saw anybody's new suit or shoes that they got for Pesach this year. Only the Eibishter saw it. And
That's really great.
Concept is whether,
That's great. Make Rabbi Nachbar feel bad for talking about being away from his family earlier. That's beautiful. That's nice. Tachlis. That's the Tachlis, Rabbi Nachbar, isn't it? Isn't that the Tachlis?
No comment.
Your kids aren't old enough to watch the show. It's okay. They're not gonna. You know what? By the time they're older, you're gonna have a whole different way of expressing all these things, and they won't know about any of this. I certainly am not gonna make a note to have them watch this video. A bit older, depending on how much you're able to send to a bank account that you've already been provided with. Just going to write a few things down. So listen, I'm just looking at the comments to see if there's anything else we need to cover. Somebody gave herself a free plug, so I'm not going to mention that. But it's a camp, and if you want to look in the chat on the YouTube, you can do that. I know that we had some people who were having trouble getting on the YouTube broadcast at the beginning. For some reason, it was delayed starting. So obviously you'll always be able to watch the replay of this and every episode of Rabbis in Quarantine Getting Coffee by visiting yih.org/live. That's where all the episodes are. So I thank Rabbi Nachbar, Rabbi Zions, Rabbi Adi for being with us. And I know it sounds like I'm wrapping up, but I don't like to wrap up myself. I like to hear if anybody has any final thoughts, stories, or insights they would like to share. But wait, before we do, we have a final question from our live audience. Joey Batesh would like to ask Rabbi Adi.
Wait, which Batesh?
Joey.
Okay.
He wants to know, what's the trick to ordering a shawarma?
I see Ike and Navy paid attention in class also.
Do share.
Yeah, so the trick to ordering a shawarma is, number one, you never, ever wait in line. You go around, you tell them straight, you'll never get served. And if the guy behind the counter calls you motek, don't get offended. They say it to everybody. But the number one thing is, make sure you stick to a theme and that you don't add too many things in the shawarma. They don't want to fill it up with meat. They want to fill it up with all the salads. So get things that stick to the wall. Hummus, chug, whatever it is, but fill it up. Don't fill it up with the salads. That you get it for free on the sides. Fill up with the meat completely so you get your money's worth. And then you can ask maybe. And then one of the Biteshes gave me, I think, a good, what did he tell? One of the Biteshes gave me he said, came back and said, I think you go back and you say, is it possible to even get some fries or something in it? So they'll give it to you on the side and not, so you get free order of fries that way as well. So there's a lot of great things that we can learn from shawarma as well, and buffalo videos and flipping a burger and everything else your kids learn.
So good notes to have.
I see you're
really beautiful.
Rabbi Zions is writing also. Actually, I look again, that was actually Ike who asked that. It came through Joey Batesh. It was Ike who asked that. I just picked up my phone. People don't realize, they think that because I don't know, maybe let's just say I would have been in the Hedgehog Minion without question.
So the reason I'm there is because I would have been also. I mean,
right, exactly. To this day, I need the Hedgehog Minion. You don't know how great this concept of these quick minyanim is for me, that they start at Baruch Hu, so everybody should daven at home up to Baruch Hu before they get there. But anyway, people think that I'm all over the place. So they send me WhatsApps and they text while I'm doing live broadcasts like this. And usually I don't look. But while you were explaining the shawarma, which I've heard before, so I already knew, I decided to look and see if anybody tried to WhatsApp me anything just to get something on the air. And actually, while I was talking before about what Oded Caravani had posted, but that I didn't end up saying what he posted, I have a series of texts from Rav Natan saying, don't go there, stop. don't go there. But in the end, I got a smiley face, and I got one from Odette as well. But how about you, Rabbi Nachbar? Any final thoughts?
I think that one thing just about the whole Zoom and the students in education is that what we do is eternal, whether it's in person or it's over a medium like Zoom. How many of us remember using Zoom before this, right? Like just using like anything like this. And it just goes to show that no matter how we, spread Torah, spread lessons, those things, like no matter what we do, it's eternal and it sticks. And we're blessed to be in this profession. And I learned that I very much rely upon my students just because they give me life, and that I'm able to lock myself in my office for like 4 hours a day and like be able to do something else besides for like make like 1,000 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for like all my kids. But that so much of my life is my students. And
you change diapers also, right?
No, thank God, my kids are all they're done with that. Thank God.
Done with it, but you did at some point.
Lucky. At some point, I did. Yeah, I'm very dedicated, like Rav Natan, very dedicated, extremely.
And like Rabbi Zions.
Rabbi Zions, very very dedicated. But it was great in that I had a student tell me that he actually liked Zoom more than being in class, which I guess was like a really not so subtle dig at my teaching style in person. But whatever. I just really, I realized how much my life is my students, and I hope that I was able to show them how much I appreciate them. And I learned a lot of them. I'm going to miss them over the summer, and I hope I get to see them in person. But I'm also really happy I got to learn how to order a shawarma the night. I think that's a very important, process to be involved with. And I'm inspired as a Jew. So thank you.
We have all learned a lot tonight. Rabbi Zions, I'm gonna send it home with you.
Well, I also want to actually say something normal after or before.
Not about a shawarma?
Yeah.
I thought your big finish was going to be the shawarma.
No, I have a sincere finish.
Okay, so Rabbi Zions, you want to let Rabbi Adi go first, or you want to
go for it?
Okay, if I steal any of your thunder, I apologize in advance.
No worries.
But
wait, is she in a headlock right now against her? What's going on there?
Yeah, like when people want to like discipline their kids in public, they smile but they squeeze their hand really hard. Get over here right now! I'm kind of doing that. But I want to say that everybody in this profession, for sure the 4 of us that are on this call, and I know for sure Rabbi Zions because I've worked with him, and every faculty member I've ever worked with, when people devote their lives to a school, a high school, middle school, whatever it may be, they're really not doing it for the paycheck. That much I'll guarantee you. And what they're doing that, especially like modern day times where, the number one complaint you're always going to get from kids, kids are terrible. All they do is sit on the video games all day and they're this and they're that. The reality is that it's such a great thing for us, Rabbeim and people in our industry, because at the end of the day, we can't offer them anything that's going to make them happy. I can't tell a kid, hey guys, who wants $1 million in high school? All you have to do is just fill out this Google form. They'll be like, is it too late to do it? I don't want to do it. There's not a lot of drive going on for anything else. The only thing that the kids nowadays relate to is something that we offer, and that's what we do. That's what we dedicate our lives to, and that's the actual love for each and every neshama that we have, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put in our journey, that to be with them and to inspire them in any way we can. And the reality is that whether you're on Zoom, virtually, or in a brick and mortar building, it makes no difference. The reality is that the love and the devotion that we give to our students is something that really comes from within. It's not something that it's stopped because we had all else failed. It's something that we all strive for. It's something that we all, love being a part of their lives and a part of their journey. And yeah, there may be challenges, whether we're face-to-face or whether we're on Zoom or it's virtual or it's quarantine. But at the end of the day, the actual concept of what we're doing with our, with our educational, whatever it is teaching or, showing videos, whatever it is out of love. And we're always able to have that. And the reality is that, I've been part of the Hollywood, BMA community, started about 7-8 years ago. So the kids that I first started with already like in college and going, and it's amazing to see them Zoom me. It's amazing to see them, when I get to see them at a restaurant or somewhere in the community, how much, they still care for what we try to do.
And they show off. They get to show off there that they know how to order a shawarma.
Oh, that's right. So that's my only sincere and serious thing I'm going to say. And now I'm going to pass it on to Rabbi Zions.
All right, Rabbi Zions, follow that.
I will say, well, it's hard to follow Ravadi and Rabbi Nachbar, but I will say that, within the times that we're currently in, I think such a powerful reminder has been set in, and that's that you can never underestimate the power of the personal relationship, of the face-to-face. People, educators have always struggled. They're distracted with technology, the phones, the iPads, the this, the that. Everything is distracting, and it's true because they are distractions. At the same time, they're also able to be utilized as an incredible resource to be able to connect to them where they are, while still not, sacrificing any of your morals or values. But at the same time, when there's an overdose, if you will, of technology, when there's an excessive usage of Zoom and you can't stand it anymore, nothing will ever replace a face-to-face conversation. You can connect to them all you want via technology, and that's incredible. Bring them over for a Friday night Shabbos. You have your students over for a Shabbaton. The impact, the difference, you cannot begin to compare. So I think this is a great reminder, not just for staff, but even for students who now realize, I've had students who hate school and they've been begging to leave school, and then they are crying, wishing they were back in school. I never thought I would say this. I wish I was back in school. I miss all my friends. I miss being able to complain to everyone. I was like, it's unbelievable when students themselves have that epiphany where they begin to realize, like, wow, you know what? All the things that I took for granted, all things that I thought I hated, I miss it. I miss all those things. So, hopefully when we move forward, God willing, today, any day after, it's already been, as Rabbi Nachman said, I think a decade we're holding by. It's been, we're coming up to a decade, and maybe this is the anniversary of the decade. But nothing can replace it. But I really hope that our minds we have a mind shift. The world will forever be changed. And the question is, if the world is changing, are we willing to change? Are we willing to change our perspective? Are we willing to change our mindset, our view on our reality? Are we willing to reprioritize what's really important in life? And so hopefully, that's what I hope as we move forward.
All right. I don't think I could even follow that. Just to say that I'm lucky that my kids have, in one way or another, had been able to have contact with all of you, and we're all better for it. I could say that on behalf of the entire community, and certainly all the people who are posting nice things about all of you that I won't say out loud right now. You can look at them afterwards. I don't want to inflate your heads any more than I have already. But seriously, thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for being with us in general. And I wish everyone good night. And we'll see you next week on another great episode of Rabbis in Quarantine Getting Coffee.
Bye.
Have a good night, everyone.
Avi, thank you so much. Have a nice seeing you guys.